Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights. Last episode, we finally managed to defeat Dester and return the cure to Neverwinter. Sadly, Fenthic was killed as well. Not by us, but by the mob who wanted someone to blame aside from Dester. With Neverwinter dealt with, it's time for us to move on and try and find this cult that attacked Neverwinter. These people of the Eye. Right now we've reached the town of Port Last and we need to find out more. So we're going to start with walking around, talking to people, and so forth. There's someone here. Ah, Ken Daniels! You have awoken at last. I feel privileged to finally meet you. The hero of Neverwinter, here before me. I'm getting ahead of myself. You must excuse me, I'm just so excited to meet you. Welcome to Port Last. I trust you had a safe journey from Neverwinter. My name is Lorana, and Lady Aribeth has given me the honor of greeting you upon your arrival. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let me say again how much I look up to you. We've all heard of the heroic deeds you performed in Neverwinter, and how you saved so many lives from that terrible plague. I know that you must be anxious to speak with Lady Aribeth and begin the search for the cult. She is anxious to speak with you too. You can find Lady Aribeth and her associate, Aarin in the next room, near the exit of this building. Please, go and see her right away. I wish you well in your quest to find the source of that horrible plague. I am sure that you will succeed and prove to be a hero once again. Goodbye. Thank you. Now let us go out. Oh, there is a lot here. A whole bunch of adventures and everything.
Good to see you.
Including our companions.
I have some very important information. It is good to see you here in Port Last, my friend. If we are to have any luck in tracking down this strange cult behind the plague, it will be with your aid, I am sure. I do not know how much you have been told about Lord Nash's orders. I shall help you understand whatever I can, certainly.
I'm more concerned about how you're holding up, after what happened with Fenthic.
How I feel is unimportant next to the mission we have been given. Please allow me to explain what is required of us. You know, of course, that Dester and Fenthic were associated with some manner of religious cult that was behind the Wailing Death in the city. We know so little about this cult, and it would be foolish in the extreme to suppose that simply because their activities in Neverwinter have been stopped, that they have been defeated. Lord Nasher commands that we track down the headquarters of this cult and discover their plans and stop them before another atrocity is committed. Aarin, Lord Nasher's spy master, is here in Port Last to help us do this, and has brought reports of many strange activities throughout the Northern Lands. It is possible that agents of the cult may be behind some of these activities. If so, we may be able to find them and discover where their base is located. Your aid in this will prove invaluable.
I have some questions about this mission, Aribeth.
Of course. Ask what you will of me.
Wow, you sound irritated. It's like you're tired of us asking questions all the time. What are you and Aarin going to be doing while I search?
I am here to see that Lord Nash's commands are carried out, while Aarin continues to use his network of spies to gain more information beyond Neverwinter's walls. Admittedly, my own role seems sparse. Part of me thinks that my Lord Nasher simply wishes someone he trusts in this role, while another believes he does not wish to be reminded of Fenthic or my pain. Regardless, we will do all that we can to help you. Do not think your efforts go unrecognized.
How do you propose I look for this cult?
Aarin has several ideas on places where the cult may be hidden. Currently, he is working on finding a way into the city of Luskan. Its gates have been sealed since the plague in Neverwinter began. I suggest you talk to Aarin about where these places might be. Search for any clues about the rise of ancient cults or odd activities. Once a way into Luskan is found, you can search there as well. If we are fortunate, you will perhaps encounter some part of the cult and gain information as to who they are and where they are based.
We can certainly hope. What should I do if I discover something?
Any information you discover should be brought to Aarin and myself. Once we know more about the cult, Lord Nasher can decide what to do next.
Why are we not searching more in Neverwinter?
The search does continue within the city. Indeed, Lord Nasher is having Neverwinter scoured thoroughly for more traces of the cult. It is his feeling, however, that the true force of the cult lies outside of Neverwinter, and that it is your efforts here that will prove the most valuable.
And just what do we know about this cult?
Dester appears to have been their link in Neverwinter, as you discovered. But of the cult itself, we have been able to ascertain little. Aarin is positive that its true heart lies outside of Neverwinter, and that it has yet to show us the extent of its strength. The task ahead of us will no doubt be most dangerous, but that makes it all the more necessary that we do not remain ignorant of what this cult is and what it intends.
Indeed. I want to ask
Certainly.
something else. How are you feeling? This must be a terrible strain.
My strain should not surprise you. My only love lies dead, and while it was my lawful lord who executed him, his true murderers remain beyond my reach. I wish, with such fervor that it frightens me, to see those allies of Dester pay, to see Tyr visit them with terrible justice. I am a paladin of Tyr, sworn to uphold good and justice, yet somehow I cannot condemn Fenthic in my heart. He meant only to do what he saw was his duty, I am sure of it.
Everyone can make a mistake, Aribeth. Even for the best reasons.
Aye, a mistake. But it is more than that, isn't it? Fenthic was hanged for treason, disgraced in the eyes of his lord and his god. But I should not be distracting you from your task. My own problems are unimportant and of no interest to you, I am sure. Please forgive me.
No, go on. Tell me what you were going to say.
It is just that Fenthic's fate could have been mine, or yours, or anyone's. How do you know that the path you walk is the correct one? I have never questioned my faith or my duty before, but neither did Fenthic. I feel doubt, and I am ashamed to admit it. Perhaps I am merely wallowing in my sorrow. Perhaps I know my path better than I think I do, but I am no longer sure. Is it wrong for me to think such thoughts?
Well, in my opinion, it's never wrong to question. Our ability to question is very important, and the fact we can ask is part of what gives us our free will. What's important are your answers.
Yet I have no answers, only more questions. Thank you for allowing me to unburden my heart, but perhaps it is best if I put these thoughts out of my head for now. The safety of Neverwinter relies on your mission, and my duty regarding that is more than clear. Let us speak of that instead.
Well, do you have any advice for me?
I would suggest you speak to Aarin Gend and find out where to focus your efforts in finding evidence of the cult.
As you say, then. I'm gonna do some looting of these chests here that I see. A potion of cat's grace. Ah, there's a barrel if I can get to it. I do see all of our companions are here, and I will speak with them eventually, but there are other people I must speak with first. There we go. Oh, there's a crate over there. I didn't see it. Yes, I'm doing some looting. Hush. There's a lot of adventurers in here. Ooh, arrows of the vampire. Indeed. Anyway. Let's speak with this Kendrak first.
Eh? I suppose you're here to sign up, are you? I've no time for a new apprentice, however, so off you go.
Sign up for what? For the bloody mercenary guild, of course. Isn't that why you've come? Unless you're not here for training. Wait, now I've placed you. You're one of the folk who came with Lady Aribeth, aren't you? From Neverwinter? My apologies. We get so many strangers coming through town these days, after all. Something I can do for you. Who are you? Me name be Kendrak, head of the guild here and mayor of Port Last, also known as the first captain. Your name be then? Pleased to meet you. My name's Ken Daniels. Aye, I think I recall the lady mentioning you now. She said you'd be a hero, in fact, which makes me doubly glad you're here. I have a problem someone competent like yourself might be able to help with, and there's coin in it for ye to boot. Might you be interested? What's the problem? I received word from Waterdeep not long ago that a group of criminals escaped from the Bulwark prison. Dangerous bunch, killers all. According to the word, the group be split up to avoid capture, but all of them be in this region. That makes me nervous, it does. Each of them has a sizable bounty for their left ear, marked with the seal of the Bulwark to prove that they be dead. It is too dangerous a task to set me own men to it, but perhaps ye might be up to the challenge. What do you think, lad? How much are the bounties? There be 5 criminals escaped, and a bounty of 300 gold pieces exists for each of them. Just how dangerous are these men? Not all be men, in fact, but all be quite deadly. If you find them, be careful. At least they be separated now, and not all together. So I'd have to bring back their ear. Aye, they not be wanted alive any longer. The seal of the prison on their ear identifies them, and it'd be easier than carrying the body. Yeah, I'll do it. 'Tis a relief to hear that, lad. If left free and alive, these criminals would become a problem, I'm sure. I hope you finds them all. The 5 be named as follows: Zor, the Sturge, Wyvern, Delilah, and Yesgar. Tell me about Zor. Zor be a minotaur, so he should stick out wherever he goes. He be strong and fierce warrior, but he's a wee bit simple in the head. I am told that he has many friends still in Noskin. It may be that he will be there, or at least attempting to enter the city. Tell me about the Sturge. The Sturge be a strange one. A gnome thief, it is said, who believes himself to be the smartest man alive. The gnome was sighted last in the wildlands along the South Road, though he could be anywhere there. Tell me about Wyvern. The Wyvern's an elven man, a renowned bandit who is familiar with the ways of the wood. He be deceptive and cunning, and skilled with the bow. The elf has not been sighted, but I have little doubt he be hidden within the Neverwinter wood. Best search for him there. Tell me about Delilah. A female halfling who is known to be cruel and wicked. She's an assassin who comes out of Loskin. I hear the city might be closed up tight, however, so I doubt she'll be there. Last word I have of that is that she was spotted east of town, and then all but vanished. Tell me about Yesgar. Yesgar be a fierce half-orc murderer, and it were he that masterminded the escape of all these criminals. Of all the ones that have escaped, it is Yesgar who has remained the most elusive. I have not a clue where he might be, though he will not stray far. Alright. What kind of guild is this? This be the Mercenary Guild. Here I train fighters to hone their skills, and we see to hiring them out. Can you train me? In such a short time it would benefit ye little, lad. And besides, as I already said, the guild be full. Do you sell arms and armour then? Nay, if you wish as such, go and speak to Halgil at the Cracked Anvil. He would have all you need, I assure ye. Can I hire one of your mercenaries? Aye, if you wish. You would need to speak to them yourself, however. They decide for themselves and set to their own prices after all. I need some directions. And so this way we can know of the town. Is there a good inn nearby? Aye, the Alliance Arms is a fine inn, and you'll find other adventurers like yourself there this time of year. Is there a decent store in town? Halgil at the Cracked Anvil should have just about everything you need, lad. What temples are nearby? The only temple in town is Tyr's, lad. Your lady Aribeth be there, as is Father Neurik. I think she's actually here. Can I get magical supplies in town? Aye, if you wish. Them cloak wizards have built an enclave here. 'Tis a strange place, but Altura caters to wizardly folk. Is there a druid grove in the area? There be one off in the Neverwinter wood, aye. You may wish to speak to Ballard about it. You'll find him at his little grove just outside of town. How do I get to Luskin from here? Take the road north, lad. They say the gates be closed tight due to the sickness in Neverwinter, however, and they'll not let ye in. Alright, I'll be going. Farewell to you, then. Interesting person. Anyway, before we get our companions, let us speak with Aarin Gend and learn what exactly we are to do.
Hail, friend. You were instrumental in ridding Neverwinter of the Wailing Death, I understand. Allow me to congratulate you on a job well done. You have shown yourself to be possessed of remarkable courage and resourcefulness. That is fortuitous, for both these qualities will be needed if you are to complete your mission. But that is not how we should begin. I am known as Aarin Gend, and I have served our Lord Nasher for some time. Hopefully, I may be of similar use to you now.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Ken Daniels.
Indeed. I know who you are. There are many who whisper your name right now, and it is my business to listen to them all. My place lies in the shadows. I have many eyes and ears throughout the northern lands. And it is my place to inform Lord Nasher where the Vipers lay in wait. If only I had foreseen the actions of this cult, I could have prevented the disaster. But these men move skillfully out of my sight and hearing. Instead of recriminating myself for my failure, I must do what I can to repair the damage. And that is to offer what information I have to you, so that you may find where this new nest of Vipers hides. Aribeth has informed you of where you must search, yes? She has told you of how you may root out these fiends?
Well, actually, she said you would explain the details.
Unearthing the cult will not be a simple task. What few whispers I have collected, however, have allowed me to narrow your search to this region. It is vital that the cult's exact location be found, and that we are certain any leads we discover are not attempts at deception. Aribeth will not be satisfied until we find at least 2 separate leads that point to the same locale. That is your task.
2 leads that point to somewhere. Okay.
I do know of one possible lead for you. There has been strange news regarding a series of caves that lie north of Port Last. Investigation may reveal the cult to be hidden there.
Alright, there's a lead.
If not, there are other avenues for you to investigate. The city of Luskan to the north, Neverwinter Wood to the east, and the wildlands of the South Road.
Plenty to check.
I suggest, however, that looking into the caves first would still be your wisest choice.
Tell me about these caves.
The caves are in the hills to the north of Port Last, near the Green Griffin Inn. They have long been used by humanoid tribes of orcs, bugbears, and the like. They aren't usually a concern. In recent months, however, I have received word that these various humanoid creatures have been raiding the roads south of Luskan. This would not be unusual, except that the creatures now seem very organized and, I hear, are being led by humans. This leads me to believe the cult may be involved. That will be for you to determine. Just keep this in mind. No matter what you find there, Aribeth will wish 2 firm leads on the cult's location before she will act. We cannot afford a mistake.
Completely understand.
Have you a question for me then, my friend?
I actually want to know about the other places I should search.
As you wish. I will certainly tell you all I know about the other places you may need to search.
Tell me of Luskan.
Aye, a city of pirates and base villainy. The city itself will be closed to you now, but it will be worth your while to go in that direction anyway. You should seek out the humanoid caves by the Green Griffin.
Why is Luskan closed?
Their gates have been sealed ever since the plague began in Neverwinter, I'm afraid. The city is quite anarchic. An outbreak there would be devastating indeed. I have been attempting to pull what strings I can to convince officials in Luskan that the plague is over, but I am having little luck so far. Before the gates closed, there were rumors of battles in the streets in Luskan. Who knows what transpires there? With luck, I will soon arrange you a way inside to investigate.
How do I reach Luskan?
The road north will lead you along the coast and directly to the city's gates. As I said, getting into the city will be more of a problem than reaching it. I will attempt to remedy that as soon as possible.
Tell me what you know of this city.
It is known as the City of Sails, home to pirates and far worse ilk, and ruled by 5 high captains who maintain an uneasy balance of power. True power, however, lies in the hands of the mages of the Arcane Brotherhood within the Host Tower. Even I know little of these men. The city is powerful, anarchic, and dangerous. Luskan has challenged the Lord's Alliance more than once. Be careful when you walk its streets, for many within see strangers as easy prey.
And why do you think the cultists might be in Luskan?
Evil men are common as coins in Luskan, my friend. This cult could walk the streets unnoticed and find many allies who would heed gold above all else. The fact that the city remains sealed even now that the plague has ended, and so little word escapes its walls, has me worried of what events transpire there. Additionally, I have been troubled by reports of humanoid banditry taking place on the road between Neverwinter and Luskan. This is unusual. And while it may simply be caused by Luskin's ignorance, it should be investigated.
And we shall investigate. Pity we can't go into Luskin, but that would be quite a search indeed. So we'll start with the road there.
As you wish.
But
I will
now,
certainly tell you
tell
all
me
I
of the
know about
Neverwinter
other
Wood.
places. One of the deepest and most ancient woods of the north, my friend. It is filled with life both beautiful and dangerous, and is tended to by the Order of Druids.
How do I get to the Neverwinter Wood?
Follow the road east of Port Last. The lands are wild and sparsely populated there. And when you reach the boundaries of the Great Forest, you will know.
What do you know about the place?
Like Neverwinter, the forest is warmed by the magically heated waters of the river that runs through it. It is a grand and beautiful place, I am told. Few journey through its boundaries, however, as it is said that the wood has a life of its own, and is unwelcoming to outsiders. The druids of the wood, watched over by the archdruid Aarin, are aware of all that passes within their charge. It is my hope that they can provide you aid.
Why do you think the cultists might be there?
The archdruid Aarin has sent several letters to Lord Nasher as of late, begging for aid against some unknown force that assails the wood. Lord Nasher would have provided the help the archdruid required, but could not, due to the chaos within the city. Neverwinter must come first. Aarin has sent no more messages in recent days, and it is possible that the druids exist no more. The exact danger that was being faced was not explained. This cult may not even be involved. It may, however, so this may be an excellent avenue for you to search. Whatever has occurred, my friend, expect the worst.
I shall keep that in mind.
As you wish.
Now tell me of the
I
South
will
Road.
certainly. The road leads eventually home to Neverwinter, but before that lay many miles of wildlands, as well as the village of Charwood. The cult could hide in many places there.
How do I get to the South Road?
The Southern Road is not so much a place you go to, my friend, as it is a route you take. It will lead you eventually to Neverwinter, but it is the region itself that concerns me.
What do you know? Why do you... what do you think the cultists might be there?
I have no reports from this area. None. This disturbs me perhaps more than it should, as the cult could exist openly here, and I would not even know. I offer the South Road as a possibility mostly out of speculation, my friend. I simply would not wish to leave it out entirely, just in case my suspicions have good reason.
Very well then.
As you
Thank
wish.
you. I also
will
have some
certainly
questions
tell
about
you
Port
all I know
Last.
about. There are locals who could tell you more of this town, my friend. My knowledge of it is limited.
Would it be possible to hire help here?
Perhaps. I am told there is a barracks for mercenaries within the settlement. If you desire to hire assistance, inquire there.
That is completely different from what is... He said something completely different from what is said here. Do you think there might be cult activity here?
I did my best to investigate Port Last before we made our base here, my friend. But what you suggest is not impossible. There may have been things ongoing in this place which escaped my notice. An investigation on your part is not without merit, as you wish.
Thank you. I don't need to
will
know anything
certainly
else
tell you
about
all
these
I know
locations.
about the other. Have you a question for me then, my friend?
Well, I would rather talk about something else, if I may.
Aye. What would you have of me?
What will you be doing while I'm searching for the cult?
I still serve as Lord Nasher's master of spies, my friend. And his need for proper information is more vital now than even before. My ear must remain to the ground, even if my efforts must be coordinated from here, rather than deeper in the shadows. I shall continue to seek word on the cult that might aid your quest, though I have my doubts in that. You will have far more success than I think.
What is the situation in Neverwinter?
Grim. Lord Nasher reports that many of our armed forces have perished from the plague, and even more are needed to restore order to the city. The worst is perhaps over now that the plague is cured, but still we reel from a crippling blow. It will be some time before things return to what they were. What do you wish? Aye. What would you have of me?
How did you become a spy master for Lord Nasher?
That is a curious question, my friend. Nor does it have a simple answer if the truth be known, and is not a tale that I care to often tell.
Well, I'd still like to hear the tale.
As you wish, my friend. though I'll not be held responsible should you nod off during the telling of it.
Let me see. Perhaps it is best if I ask you a question first. You are a person of great fighting prowess, are you not? How is it that you came into your calling? Was it an accident? Was it born purely of talent? Do you believe you were fated to be what you are?
Truly, I suppose it was fate.
Fate is an odd thing, wouldn't you agree? Crystal clear when behind you, yet evasive and unknowable when before you. I myself started life as a slave in the southern deserts of Kalimshan. Never would I have foreseen that I might become who I am today.
Kalimshan. So you came from where Tommy was from.
I knew of the lush and wild jungles of my homeland, Chult, only through the bedtime tales of my mother. I have never laid eyes upon its shore. My mother was owned by a most vicious and cruel caliph. As a slave child, one learns to stay out of sight and to move silently, lest one be beaten. Moreover, I learned to listen. I listened to the chatter of the servants, the bored talk of the guards. For many, many years, I was the shadow in the caliph's halls. For all my hiding, however, I proved of no use to anyone but myself. I could not save my mother when the caliph beat her to death for spilling a tankard of his mead, for instance.
You were a child. What could you have done?
I blamed myself regardless, as the young often do. In grief and anger, I stabbed and killed the caliph, and was subsequently chased into the streets of Kalipor.
Well, that's good. He deserved it for slavery.
I am not proud of what I did. It is very easy to say that the man deserved it. Deserved it more than my mother did, at the very least. Who am I to say that this is so, however? I was no righteous judge that day. I acted out of retribution and became a wanted murderer, in truth. There is no denying that. I fled into the shadows of the city, and was not alone there. I found many who I will call allies and not friends, for we acted in unison only to survive. The law pursued me, so always I remained hidden and listened as I once had. The fact that I was a thief to remain alive did not help. And eventually, even the shadows of the city were no longer safe for me. I sought passage out of the city. And eventually, a captain took pity on me and gave me a position aboard his ship. Perhaps you have heard of Randall the Red?
I think so. You became a pirate?
Randall the Red deserved his reputation as a violent and cunning pirate of the Sword Coast. While I joined his crew, I was not a pirate as you think of it. I was not fond of drink as the other sailors were, and instead spent my time at each port making new contacts and listening. Over the years, Randall grew to depend on my skill. He gave me gold to establish informants throughout the coast, and I heard news the instant it happened. It was I who kept Randall safe and one step ahead of his pursuers, for always would I know before the chase was on us.
Sounds like a good living.
I was not truly a pirate. I was his master of spies, though I did not put a name to what I did. And while Randall was indeed a pirate, he was an easy man to like. I was not fond of the looting and pillaging Randall indulged in, and did my best to subtly steer him away from the worst of it.
Glad to hear that.
Randall knew what I was doing, and permitted it only because I was otherwise invaluable to him. He cared not if I cringed and turned a cheek when the crew plied the worst of their bloody trade. As the years passed, I came into a certain amount of my own fame along the Sword Coast. My life was my life, and I was satisfied with it, and discharged my duty as best I knew. It was not until I encountered Lord Nasher that my life would change forever. That, however, is another tale. Ask me of it sometime, my friend.
Of course. Thank you for telling me.
And thank you for listening. As I said, it is not a tale I tell often. Back to more important matters. Is there something you needed?
No, there is nothing else. I'll be going.
I shall hope that the gods keep you safe, my friend.
Thank you for your time. So, now we have our information. We have a couple places to look. the caves to the north of Port Last, the city of Luskan, the Neverwinter Wood, and the South Road. All this to find at least 2 possible leads for where the cult is located. We were told to start by searching the caves to the north, and I think that is definitely where we will start searching. However, that will be after we explore Port Last, which will happen after we speak with all of our companions. Because after all, we still need to speak with them and find someone to take with us. But that'll be in the next episode, because this one has gone on long enough. So, until then, I'm Chester44, that is Ken Daniels, this has been a Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights, and I shall see you all next time.